In the underworld, loyalty is bought with blood, and debts are paid with lives. But sometimes, even in the darkest corners, love finds a way to ignite. This is a story of power, sacrifice, and a bond forged in the shadows of the mafia. Comment the first movie or book that comes to mind when you think of mafia romance. Let's begin. Elena Romano had her entire life mapped out: graduate law school, become a successful attorney, and move far away from her family's shady past. What she didn't plan for was being forced into marriage with a mafia boss to settle her father's debts. "You what?" she screeched, gripping the phone so tightly it nearly cracked. Her father sighed on the other end. "Elena, it's done. Lorenzo Moretti agreed to spare my life if you marry him," she finished, her voice rising. "This is the 21st century, Dad. You can't just barter me off like a cow. You don't have a choice, sweetheart." His voice was weary, defeated. "If you don't, we're all dead." Elena's stomach dropped. She wanted to scream, cry, throw something, but what good would it do? The Moretti family was ruthless, and Lorenzo Moretti was the worst of them all: cold, calculating, and deadly. And now, her fiancé. Elena stood in the Grand Moretti estate, wearing an expensive white dress that fit like a dream. Too bad this was a nightmare. The man himself stood at the altar, looking every bit the mafia king he was. Lorenzo Moretti was tall, broad-shouldered, and sinfully good-looking. His dark hair was slicked back, emphasizing sharp cheekbones and a jawline that could cut glass. His piercing blue eyes locked onto hers, amusement flickering in their depths. "You look stunning," he murmured, voice smooth as whiskey. "I'd rather be wearing a prison jumpsuit," she shot back. Lorenzo chuckled, a low, deep sound. "Marriage to me isn't much different." The priest cleared his throat. "Do you, Lorenzo Moretti, take Elena Romano to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do." He said it without hesitation, as if he were sealing a business deal. Which, she supposed, he was. The priest turned to her. "And do you, Elena Romano?" "I do," she blurted before she could lose her nerve. Lorenzo smirked. "Eager, are we?" She stomped on his foot. His grip on her waist tightened. "Feisty." Elena gritted her teeth. It was going to be a long marriage. "You can't be serious." Elena stood in the massive bedroom of their honeymoon suite, staring in horror at the singular bed in the center of the room. Luca, lounging lazily against the doorframe, quirked a brow. "What did you expect? Separate rooms? A pillow fort between us?" "Yes." He sighed dramatically. "We're married, Elena. Only because you blackmailed me into it." Luca shrugged. "Semantics." "I'm sleeping on the couch," she declared, marching over to it. Luca's smirk widened. "Suit yourself." Elena regretted her decision at 2 a.m. when she woke up freezing. She peeked at the bed, where Luca lay shirtless, the blankets piled high. The temptation was real. "Nope," she muttered. "Not happening." 2 minutes later, she was curled up in the corner of the bed, as far from him as possible. Luca chuckled. "You're cute when you lie to yourself." She kicked him. Elena lasted exactly 1 week before she attempted to escape. She had it all planned out: wait for Lorenzo to leave, slip past his guards, take a cab to the airport. Simple, right? Wrong. She made it to the driveway before a strong arm wrapped around her waist and hauled her back. "Going somewhere, amore mio?" Elena squirmed. "Let me go, you overgrown gorilla." Lorenzo tsqued. "Name-calling? That's not very wifely of you." "I hate you." He spun her to face him, eyes glinting with amusement. "Yet, here you are, in my arms." "I was trying to leave your arms." Lorenzo leaned down, his breath warm against her ear. "Good luck with that." Her stomach flipped. No. Absolutely not. She refused to be affected by him. "Take me back inside," she grumbled. Lorenzo smirked. With pleasure. Elena wasn't trying to make Lorenzo jealous. But when a handsome stranger at a gala flirted with her, she didn't exactly stop him. Lorenzo, however, was not amused. The moment they were alone, he caged her against the wall, his body pressed firmly against hers. You like testing my patience, don't you, wife? Elena smirked. Maybe. His fingers traced her jaw. You're mine, Elena. A shiver ran down her spine. Says who? His lips brushed her ear. Says the man who will ruin any guy who looks at you the wrong way. Her breath hitched. You're insane. He grinned. And you love it. It happened so fast. 1 second, they were arguing in the car. The next, gunfire erupted. Lorenzo shoved her down, shielding her with his body. Stay down. The fight was over in minutes, but something shifted in Elena. Seeing Lorenzo so fiercely protective of her, willing to take a bullet if necessary, it made her heart ache. That night, as he sat by the fireplace, a glass of whiskey in hand, she approached him. You okay? She asked softly. He looked up, surprised. Yeah. She hesitated, then wrapped her arms around him from behind. Lorenzo stilled. Then, slowly, his hands covered hers. Neither of them spoke. But something between them changed forever. Elena was officially screwed. Because somewhere along the way, she had fallen for her infuriating, arrogant, dangerously sexy husband. She tried to fight it, but it was useless. One night, as they stood on the balcony, she finally admitted it. I don't hate you anymore. Lorenzo smirked. That's the best confession of love I've ever heard. She rolled her eyes. Don't push your luck. He turned serious, cupping her face. I never wanted to force you into this, Elena. But I don't regret it. Her heart pounded. Why? He leaned in, his lips brushing hers. Because I've never wanted anything the way I want you. And then he kissed her, claiming her completely. Elena never expected to fall in love with her husband. But here she was, completely and irrevocably his. One night, as they lay tangled together, she whispered, I guess being your wife isn't the worst thing in the world. Lorenzo grinned. High praise. She smirked. I still might kill you in your sleep. He chuckled. I love you too, amore mio. And for once, she didn't argue. Because, somehow, against all odds, she loved him too. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe.